Paddy Pimblett stirred things up on the Full Send podcast, taking direct aim at the lightweight top 10, and especially Arman Tsarukyan. Paddy said the old guard is on the way out, and claimed the only young guy hanging around is Arman, who he dismissed as a little posh boy, who's had everything handed to him on a silver platter. He even mocked Arman's past back injury and pointed out that Dana White recently downplayed him in an interview, saying Arman needs to go back to the drawing board. Then it got personal. Paddy called Arman a little bitch ass, accusing him of putting on an act with flashy flips while hiding behind excuses. Tsarukyan fired back immediately, posting on X, says the guy who got the easiest path to the top in the UFC, just because he's got a funny accent and a budget Beatles haircut. I dare you to call me out if you win, and we'll see who shits their pants in the octagon when we meet. Clown. No doubt about it, these two are headed straight toward a grudge match. And speaking of big lightweight matchups, Joanderson Brito Silva is going full throttle in the lead up to his fight with Bryce Mitchell at UFC 314, and he's doing it with words as sharp as his striking. In an interview with MMA Fighting, Silva said this fight is the real main event, because I promoted it. He compared the hype to Conor McGregor level press conferences, and he's leaning all the way into it. According to Silva, Mitchell isn't even an opponent. He's just an employee doing a job. His exact words: I never had hate for him. He's just a man standing in front of me that night. I don't even look at him as an opponent. He'll work for me that day. He's a step on the ladder. He also predicted how it ends. Bryce will quit, and Lord won't keep hitting him, because I'm not a coward. That's not the kind of war I fight. When the opponent quits, the battle is over. Silva made it clear, this isn't personal, but he fully expects to dominate, and if Bryce doesn't show up, Silva said he'll show up at his gym instead. Robert Whittaker shared his thoughts on the upcoming matchup between Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes, and he says fans are sleeping on the champ.
I think the $1 million question is what Volk are we going to see in the octagon come that night, UFC 314? Because his everyone was already talking about his losses to Makhachev, his knockout, and then you back that onto the knockout with Topuria, back that onto his age, and as MMA fans like to do, as soon as he lost, they started throwing his age around and calling him a wash, which is the silliest thing I've ever heard. Truth is, he's been out for a while now. Mm-hmm. He's coming off Makhachev and Topuria. Yeah. Did bad losses the last couple. His age is a factor in this. Which Volk are we going to see in the octagon come 314? Diego Lopes, right now, running that confidence and hype train like nobody's business. Yeah. He is just... Momentum is a serious thing in MMA because it just promotes so much confidence in yourself. It promotes so much doubt in your opponents, and you just run with it, and you can see it. We've seen it. Now, Diego Lopes is running that train. He put a beating on Ortega, but Diego's in a very, very dangerous form right now. Okay, Makhachev won Volk. Mm-hmm. I think beats Diego Lopes. Mm-hmm. Volk's skill set and just his composure, his toughness, his grit, his fight IQ, his ability to fight in the octagon is 0 to none, second to none. Okay, he's amazing. But again, with all the other factors we look into it, which Volk do we see? Well, I guess it's also because he needs the time off, but time is ticking. Yeah, it's a constant factor in this game when you're on the back end of your career, I guess. Yeah. Now, and Diego Lopes he's 30, right? So he's still got that fire. He's never been closer to the title. So and you can see in those fights, you saw the way he fought Ortega. He's hungry. He's so hungry, and he's going to come into that octagon like a savage. Willing to give it all. And That's how Volk was, and that's what I want to see Volk do come 314. Because that Volk, that fought his way to the belt, that was holding on to the belt.
Michael Chandler spoke to media about his UFC 314 clash with Paddy Pimblett, calling it a fun matchup, but also a serious test for Paddy.
Ton of respect for Paddy. We'll see what he brings on the mic. We'll see what Paddy shows up. It's a great card top to bottom. UFC 314 in Miami is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole division's had their eye on Paddy for a while. He's very charismatic. He's got a great following. He truly loves what he does. So I got a ton of respect for him. When the UFC brought it up, I liked the idea. It's a little bit more of a fun fight compared to the Poiriers and the Gaethjes and the Oliveras and the guys that I've been fighting. So it's a fun fight, man. It's a fun fight that the fans have gotten behind. I got a bad taste in my mouth from my last fight against Charles at Madison Square Garden, so I'm excited to go out there and right the ship. I think everyone should be excited. How does he stack up against a top-ranked guy? How does he stack up against a guy who can go hard for 25 minutes? How does he stack up against a guy who throws big shots and has great cardio and is ferocious and might I say violent? So we'll see. This is a sink or swim moment for him, and it's just another fight for me, and I'm excited to go out there and compete. Yeah, I mean, there's always the court of public opinion and narratives and storylines. For me, it's just another guy with 2 arms and 2 legs who's my size, man. I've been doing this since I was 14 years old, essentially. Hand-to-hand combat on the wrestling mats, and then in mixed martial arts for 15 years. So it's a lot of the same, man. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to put the pressure on him, hit him with some big shots.
Paddy Pimblett is supremely confident ahead of UFC 314 and says Chandler's game plan plays right into his hands.
He's a Bellator legend, you know what I mean? He held the belt multiple times. In the UFC, he's been what an entertaining fighter he is, you know what I mean? He's one of the fighters that I love watching, but he hasn't had the best record. He's 2-4, but his losses are 2 against Charles, 1 against Gaethje, 1 against Poirier. All 3 of them have held, Poirier and Gaethje held interim belts, and Charles had the undisputed belt. So, he's fought top competition. So, when I finish him, my name best be regarded in there with them. Yeah, this is the beat Chandler, and then it's a top 5, and then a title fight. That's the goal. That's the plan. But to be honest, I think if I didn't have that year out because of surgery, I think I'd already be fighting for the belt by now. But when I fought Jared and I'd done my ankle bad, I had to sit out for a year with major surgery. So I think I would have already beat someone like Chandler and then already beat someone in the top 5 and then be fighting for the belt soon. But, it's one of them. It's what life throws at you. You've got to come back from it. I'm ready to do 5 rounds. I've done 5 rounds in Cage Warriors before, and this isn't going 5 rounds. Chandler gets finished in 2. Yeah, it motivates you a bit more, knowing that he's gonna come in and just try and hit me with an overhand right or a left hook and knock me out. It gets you your blood flowing a little bit more because you know that he's coming to entertain, and I love that. It was the same with Bobby Green, you know what I mean? I knew Bobby was gonna come and try and take my head off and knock me out, so I think I prepare better when it's like that. But the biggest difference in this fight is fight IQ. No disrespect to, but Chandler's got some of the worst fight IQ I've ever seen, and I've got some of the best. So the game plan's got to make a big...
Jared Cannonier is open to a second fight with Sean Strickland, and he thinks this time it'll be very different.
Fought him. He said it himself. He fought like a... I felt like he didn't come forward like I expected him to. So I think, and then after he fought me, he went on to win the title. He won 2-1, won the title.
Yeah.
So, the ego with me would like to take credit for making him a better fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if he were to fight me again, I would assume that that would all be fresh into his brain that, hey, I fought this man, I didn't fight him the way I should have fought him. And then when I did fight the way I should have fought, I won the title. So I'm going to fight this man the way I believe that he would fight me. And that would be a fun fight because I was really looking forward to the first fight that we had. But to be honest, I got kind of frustrated and kind of bored because he wasn't going forward, as much. You know what I mean? And yeah. So hopefully,
I could see that again.
Yeah. So hopefully he fights and he comes forward like he usually does. Whether he's throwing his jabs and his teeps to whatever effect they're going to be against me,
He's gonna play the points where he's gonna jab, shoulder roll. He's gonna move, especially with his recent nose injury. You know, he's gonna watch out for things a little differently now, and play that shoulder roll and those points with the jab. He does use that teep, is a little awkward. Comes in there, and you fight very strong in your base. You know, I've done that. I've definitely.
I'm not trying to win ball points, and that's sometimes to my detriment. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to win by points. I'm really trying to hit you, make you feel it, and then see the reaction that I'm gonna get out of it. But yeah, I'm not really concerned myself with how the judges feel about what I'm doing. I don't even know that they're there, to be honest. I've never even thought about the judges being there.
MMA reporter Dylan Rush revealed on Instagram that someone broke into Henry Cejudo's studio at 4:45 a.m. and stole his first UFC belt. No word yet from Cejudo himself, but it's a huge loss for one of the UFC's most decorated champions.